It's been rude. It's time.
I got trouble like you ain't never seen. I must have a million enemies. They're on their way to come and kill me tonight, but the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, all my life I ain't done no good till a preacher's wife told me what I should. She said, repent your sins, and when I asked her why, she said, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, she said, repent your sins, and when I asked her why, she said, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. Sit right down and I will tell the tale of how the walls of Jericho did fail. They gathered around it and let out their cry. They said the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind, she's a pillar of fire consuming everything. The one that Moses followed to the raging sea. So Pharaoh's men,
Oh, you fatty. Dancing with your dog, is it? What did you come here for? Just came to kick your door in and give you a slag it.
Soon, oh my mind.
One person can tell me what a woman is.
You are not here for women. We ask you to leave.
What is that?
The Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. The Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. Pharaoh's men, they are close behind, but the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. The Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind. She said, repent your sins, and when I asked her why, she said, the Lord is coming soon. Oh my mind.
Let's get it done.
Hello and welcome to Bryan Lomax. That's me. Yeah. So this is something that I did last year and wanted to do again this year. Hello to everyone in the chat that has joined me so far. Sean Sheridan, no, you won't see Terrified 2 at number 1. You won't see it anywhere on this list because I've still not seen it and will not see it. Not until I'm forced to see it for a 31 on 31. I may have to duck out of that particular 31 on 31 when it happens though. So yeah, no Terrified 2 on this list. But there are 45 movies on this list, 45 new releases that I saw last year, whether it be at cinema or on Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever. The joys of streaming that we now have, we can watch a lot of new releases at home. But yeah, I watched 45 new releases. I watched somewhere in the region of 200 films last year. So obviously, most of them were just films I had never seen before, but are pretty old. They're on DVD, and some were just repeat watches. My number one on this list being the one I watched most last year. So I'm going to get into it. You know how this works. It's a ranking. I start with the absolute worst and I work my way to the best, which if you're not a rocket scientist and you know me pretty well, you will probably know already what that is. But yeah, let's go. So let me find my little ditties that I've got here. Right. Okay. So 45 movies, starting with number 5. And this, again, probably won't come as much of a surprise to anyone because it seems to be on the bottom of most people's lists, and it is Morbius. Yeah, this was a turd. I've defended the director of this film in the past. I think it's the guy who did Life, a film which I really liked, if I'm not mistaken. And even when this was dragging its heels and just didn't seem to ever be coming to the cinema and kept on getting pushed back and pushed back, I still had hopes. High hopes. I don't know. I still had hopes that it was at least going to be good. The trailers I thought were pretty decent. As far as special effects go, as far as tone went, it looked like we were going to actually get a dark kind of horror take on a Marvel character, but we didn't. We just got the most generic comic book movie you could possibly get. Like, it's beyond rote. It's just, and then there was some embarrassing stuff in it for the actors where you're looking at them and you're just feeling sorry for them that they're in this garbage. Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience, and I was close to turning it off, but I don't like counting films as being seen if I've not seen the entirety of them. So I put myself through the rest of this crap just so I could put it on the bottom of this list. But yeah, okay. Thomas Jones, still haven't seen Morbius. You're not missing much. So Thomas Jones and Thomas Jones. That's genuinely two different Thomas Joneses, is it? Because you both commented the other night on one of my posts straight after each other, and I assumed that Thomas Jones, number one, had posted and then maybe realized that wasn't the account he wanted to post with, so he went into his other account that I know him for and posted on that one. But you're genuinely two different Thomas Joneses, is that right? Okay, that's not going to be confusing at all, but there you go. Right, Toxic Gamer 331. I think I might be the only one that enjoys Morbius. I think you might. Cody Leach, what was that? I just jumped. They actually thought a meme would make a re-release a success. Bombed twice. Yeah, it's not good. Right, okay. Oh yes, that was the embarrassment. Matt Smith dancing in his underpants was a particular highlight. I just felt sorry for him, quite frankly. He's a good actor. He deserves more than that. And Morbius is not the worst I've seen, but I don't have patience or tolerance for comic book films this bland and generic. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like if this had been released in the early noughties, late 90s, early noughties, it would probably be considered quite good, to be honest. You'd look back on it with a certain sense of fondness. But because we've had so much like it, it's coming out at a time when it's like, no, you've really got to do more than this to separate yourself from the crowd. It's just, yeah, it's a turd. It's lazy. It just feels like everyone involved, quite frankly, could not be asked. So yeah, why should we be asked in watching it, or indeed talking about it any longer? I don't appear to have my number 44. Let me see. Have I misplaced that somewhere? Let me have a look. I checked all these last night. Probably did it when I was half asleep, and now I'm like, where is it? Can't see it. Right, number 44. There we go. Because I really want to talk about this film. So number 44 is Vendetta. Yeah, Bruce Willis, poor soul. He's kind of just getting whatever he can while his mind slowly deteriorates. So you got to feel sorry for the guy. But unfortunately, it means that a lot of people are just kind of coming along and, dare I say, taking advantage of that, taking advantage of him and just putting, we've got a crappy movie for you. You can come down, spend 2 days shooting and collect a paycheck. No effort required. I watched quite a few of these bad boys last year, and of the ones that were released last year, this was the worst, as you can see. Mike Tyson in a film for me is never a good sign. Please stop putting Mike Tyson in movies. And the guy there with the white hair on the poster, I can't remember his name. No doubt, Theo Rossi, probably. If judging from the names that are on that poster, he strikes me as someone who could probably be a good actor if he was given the right material and the right filmmakers behind the camera. But I found him just a bit over the top. The script that he was working off didn't require the level of over the topness that he was delivering, and the whole thing. And Thomas Jane, totally wasted. Just what was the point? The whole film is just straight to DVD cringe, and I've forgotten most of it, quite frankly, which is why I can't really talk anymore about it. So we'll go to 43. Speaking of bland, Uncharted. I don't have a great history with computer game adaptations, gotta be said. I'm not a gamer, and the movies that have been made based on games don't particularly sell me on the idea of gaming. Although it does appear that most gamers do seem to rate the movies that come out on these things quite low as well. So maybe that shouldn't be a trailer for the game. But the thing that annoys me most about a film like Uncharted is the amount of money, star power, and just talent that goes in to making such a bland movie. Just to have that much money and throw it away on something that just raises zero emotional response out of me beyond boredom is quite offensive, really, given the poverty that exists in the world. So not great. Sean, I can't agree, I'm afraid. His cameo in The Hangover, I remember finding offensive at the time. I can't remember why, because I can't remember much of The Hangover, because I think at the time he was going through the whole lawsuit about being a wife beater or a woman beater or something. Oh, you can't say that, can you? If you say that on a YouTube video, you get like, oh well. But and I think because he was in the film around that time and some of the comments he makes in the film, I don't know, it felt like it was in bad taste, and it just made me not really like him all that much. I wasn't a fan at the time anyway, so that it didn't do anything to endear me to him. What can I say? Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't like to be in the room with the man and say this, because he would just tear me in half. But not a fan. So number 42, straight to DVD. It is Catwoman Hunted. I do keep putting myself through these DC animated movies. There's a lot that I do like, a lot of them that I do like. But they can be quite hit and miss. More misses as of late. But the Long Halloween adaptation was good. I really enjoyed that one. But this just felt like no effort went in, and it also felt like, yes, we've got to the point now where it seems every single character in comic books is of a by persuasion, and it's just like, right, okay, that's fine, but do we have to have them talk about it as if that's the sole defining characteristic of them, is their sexuality? I found it annoying, to be honest. And the music in it was just, they were going for that kind of like 1950s Cary Grant kind of adventure vibe. It didn't work for me. Not in animation. I found most of it cringe. At number 41, we've got Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh, dear Lord. So I was tempted to put this lower down, but if not for Christian Bale, unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen the movie that Christian Bale was making, because I don't think it was this one. Yeah, he's stellar in this. He's a really great bad guy, and then we've got this ridiculous Thor movie in which rarely any of the jokes, if any, land, to be honest. And the ones that they have, they just hammer until it's like the goats. Okay, once reasonably funny, twice, all right, we get the joke. Any more than that was just getting ridiculous. Yeah. And the thing that really annoys me about this movie is that Thor, when you look at him, like, go back to the first Avengers movie, he is arguably the most powerful Avenger. He's the only one really that can go up against Hulk. I know Iron Man does, but he needs that big ass suit that he's created in order to do it. Just as on their own, without any aids, Thor was the only one really who could go up against Hulk. And it's just like, over the course of the movies, like they realized that Hemsworth was funny. They realized Thor can be quite comedic, and I actually found him one of the most enjoyable characters because of that. But Love and Thunder just swings so far into that element that they completely lose the essence of the character, who he was at the start of this journey. Back in Kenneth Branagh's film, through the first few Avengers movies, he's just lost any threat, any strength, anything. He's just become a joke in his own franchise. He's the main character. This is his series of films, and he's become a joke. And all the side characters are either doing things way better than he is, are far more competent at everything. And it's just, really? You're going to disrespect your main character like this? I found it so annoying. So annoying. Yeah, I'm almost wishing I did put it lower, quite frankly. Thomas Jones, Thor was miserable. Even my stepdad, who loves Thor, was like, what am I watching? I turned it off after 20 to 30 minutes, thank God. I watch movies in the cinema free, otherwise there's £10 that would be... Yeah, well, yeah, £10 you'd pay to watch that, and it's just like having your time wasted. Sean, I hate the cringe MCU humor outside the Avengers. I have no desire to watch most of the rest. Yeah, this last phase has been terrible, to be honest. There aren't many films in it that I will give a rewatch. Spider-Man No Way Home and Black Widow. I've not seen Black Panther 2 yet, so I will reserve judgment on that. But I am getting a little bit past it with Marvel in particular. I'm more inclined to go the DC route. Definitely. I mean, I always have been. But there you go. Shaybert Rob, Thor Love and Thunder was better than Avengers. I voted Thor Love and Thunder 0 out of 10 by the So you really don't like the Marvel movies. Okay, yeah. Right. Okay. Right, let's move on from Thor Love and Thunder because it's just too painful. At number 40, we've got Moonfall, in which Roland Emmerich makes yet again the same film. It's this guy's one note. He just blows stuff up. He puts the same characters in each movie. He also has a particular kind of cringy style of humor that ain't funny, that doesn't work. It's designed to endear you to his characters, the loosest of terms, and it never does. I'm more endeared to his characters if in the moments where he keeps it serious. But given the concept of going to the moon and finding aliens living inside it, there's not much room to do that, to keep things serious. Love Patrick Wilson. I'll watch anything with Patrick Wilson in. I think he's a really great actor. But yeah, he was the best thing in this, but it's pretty dire. I'm just sick of Roland Emmerich blowing things up, to be honest. I'm past it now. Back in Independence Day times, it was quite entertaining, but now it's just sad. He never seems to quite get a handle on the special effects these days. It's like Independence Day, yeah, it all seemed cutting edge, but he seems to still be delivering Independence Day level effects and things because he's just throwing tons of CGI at the screen. But it's always weightless. There's never any. I never feel like anyone's truly in danger. Yeah, I'm again past it. But Moonfall is awful, but it is so much fun to watch with a group of friends. Me and my friends still quote it now. Really, it's weirdly one of this year's most memorable and lasting films in that regard. Yeah, because it's so bad. Backtrack Cinema, just saying hi, Brian. Birthday shopping for my son. I have not seen much in 2022, but my two favorites are Top Gun Maverick and Prey. Yes, you will see them pretty high on this list. Not to give the game away, but yeah. Oh, sheesh. So many, you and your questions. Roland Emmerich or Michael Bay? Michael Bay. I'm going to take Michael Bay. There's a Roland Emmerich film here, and there's a Michael Bay film on this list. It's higher, and it's not even one of Michael Bay's best. So yeah, I'll take Michael Bay just as long as I don't have to include any of the Transformers sequels, because man, they're painful to watch. Thomas Jones, thank you for that, mate. I'm the Tom from Patreon. If that helps, that does help. My top three would be All Quiet on the Western Front, Batman, and Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, I still need to see All Quiet on the Western Front. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I believe is it German with subtitles? I've got nothing against subtitles. I'm happy to watch film with subtitles, but I've got to be in the right mood. I will say that much. Let's have a look. What's next? Okay, 39. We're going into animated film territory. Quite a few of these. Bad Guys. So I saw this with my kids. I've seen a few. So we are into 3-star territory now. So this wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't particularly. Again, it's that blandness effect kind of thing where there's so much in this movie where I felt like I knew where it was going and all the plot beats. And it's like, yeah, that's got to happen. There it is. And then this is going to happen. Yeah, there it is. But my kids really enjoyed it. And I think because of that, I enjoyed it to a degree because, you know, I want my kids to get a love for cinema. So I take them quite a bit whenever I can. So even if it's something as pretty generic as The Bad Guys, if they're enjoying it, I do get some enjoyment from that because it's building their love of cinema. So yeah, where are we? Sean, Batman is my number one, as good as The Dark Knight, and I never thought I would say that. Yes, it's very good. I still don't know that I would say that, but it is very good. Robert sorry, mate, I'm going to butcher your name here. Robert Marginian. Is that Marginian? Haven't seen the new All Quiet on the Western Front, but the original one is one of the best movies of the 1930s and also won Best Picture at the Oscars. I have it and I do intend to watch it at some point. I want to go through all the Best Picture winners back when it actually meant something. If it ever did. Did the Oscars ever mean anything? Really? Have they ever? It's just, in recent years particularly, it just they feel like they just lost touch, but whatever. We're back to Bruce Willis territory at number 38 with White Elephant. This was actually quite entertaining, and my biggest draw for this film was Olga Kurylenko. I really like Olga Kurylenko, and she seems to have kind of been relegated to these kind of bargain bucket DVD movies now, along with the likes of, you know, John Malkovich and Michael Rooker and all them lot. But yeah, I do like her as an actor, and I think she's actually a good actress, not just a pretty face. So I would like to see her getting more high profile stuff. But this was, yeah, it was generic. It was seen it before kind of stuff, you know, guns, gangsters, double crosses. It's like it was short, it was sweet, it passed the time. I was entertained. There was some good action in it. Can I remember much from it? Not really, no. Which probably tells you everything you need to know right there. Thomas Shaw. Oh, that's the other Thomas. Yeah, I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused already. Soon I'll be becoming a patron of you, Bryan, once I get a steady pacing on the honor. See, that's going to be even more confusing. Two patrons, both called Thomas Jones. I'm going to have to number you. We're going to have to call you. Yeah, you'll have to be Thomas number 2. Thomas number 1 and Thomas number 2. Low Carb Monster, haven't heard of this one. Yeah, I'm guessing many people haven't, mate, to be honest. It's just like I say, early last year, like just a ton of Bruce Willis movies just hit Sky. There was just like a whole block of them. They just got nailed onto Now TV. All like, yeah, just it was embarrassing. And then all the news came out, obviously, about his predicament, which just made it even sadder, to be honest. But poor guy. Okay, this is my most recent watch. Again, went to see with the kids. It's Lyle Crocodile, which was better than I was anticipating. I'll say that much. I really like Javier Bardem. I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, Nah, man. It just felt like, yeah, we've seen Paddington, and then they even kind of sort of redid, like the Americans did their own version with Winnie the Pooh, which actually worked. The Mark Forster directed film, which like I said, I thought that was just going to be like a poor kind of American rip-off of what the Brits had done with Paddington, but no, it was actually quite good. It was very good, in fact. And then the trailer for this came out, and I'm like, oh, come on, you're doing it again. Well, you're just gonna keep rehashing that now and until it's, yeah. But there was nothing else on to set the kids to. I watched it, I enjoyed it. It's silly, it's pretty generic. You know exactly where it's going. You know all the plot beats before they happen, but it gets by on a lot of charm from its actors. All of the actors you see on the poster there. Scoot McNairy as well is someone I quite like, it's got to be said. But Javier Bardem does a lot with this. He embraces the absurdity of it and just goes for it. And yeah, it kind of makes me like him even more. This is the guy who shot people in the face with an air, whatever that device was in No Country for Old Men. He was scary in that film, and then you see him here, and it's the total flip side of that. And I always appreciate actors who can go to different extremes. He's really, really great. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so Thomas Jones, you're going to be Tommy, and Thomas Jones, you're going to be Tom. Okay, got you. Not confusing at all. Okay, maybe if one of you could change your YouTube name, that would really help me out, guys. Next up at 36, we've got Minions: The Rise of Gru. I enjoyed this film. Again, took my kids, they enjoyed it, so I enjoyed it. But it for me, the biggest thing with these movies is they all seem to just bleed into one now. I couldn't tell you what bit. It's like the Ice Age syndrome, and to some extent Shrek. When you've seen all those movies, like, you give me a moment from an Ice Age film, I couldn't tell you which one it was from, because they all just bleed into one. Same with Shrek for the most part. And yeah, this is the same. Minions. You show me a scene from this film, even though I only saw it last year, I probably couldn't tell you which Despicable Me or Minions film it's from. They just all kind of, yeah, they've all just become one beast, to be honest. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a laugh because my kids had a laugh. One good reason to have kids, guys and girls, it makes you enjoy films a lot more that perhaps you wouldn't have enjoyed. Speaking of which, 35, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I didn't like this as much as the first one. It's got to be said. I enjoyed it. It passed the time. I liked Jim Carrey, though he wasn't quite as on form here as he was in the first one. First one took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting anything from it. Never, said before, I've never been a gamer, so I was like, oh, a lot of people are like, they made a Sonic the Hedgehog film, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'll go and watch it because Jim Carrey's in it, and I got a bit of a soft spot for James Marsden, so I'll watch it. Watched it with my kids, loved it. And then when the second one was getting released, I was actually looking forward to it. I made a concerted effort to G my kids up and get them out, and so we could all go and watch it. And I was a little disappointed. It was fun. It was entertaining enough, but some of the subplots and stuff with Marsden's character and his wife and the sister-in-law or whoever it was, the best friend, and that just, I wasn't biting with that. I was done. But yeah, it's fun enough. Next up, we've got number 34, the Prize Fighter, The Life of Jem Belcher. So I'm probably assuming a lot of you are watching this thinking, hey, what? Yeah, this is a film that had zero fanfare. It just popped up one day on Now TV. I was like, oh, Russell Crowe, Ray Winston. All right, I'll give it a watch. It's an intriguing enough story. It's a true life story about some guy. His dad was a boxer, and then he becomes a boxer and gets involved in drinking and abusing his body and things like that. And it's just I don't remember a right lot from it other than Russell Crowe. I thought Russell Crowe was really good in it. It was kind of a small role for him, just like a glorified cameo, really, but he was very, very good in it, quite impactful. And the rest was just, it happened. I watched it. It was good enough to keep me engrossed, but I'll probably never watch it again. It should probably be a bit lower on this list, to be honest. I will probably end up watching Sonic 2 again at some point, and maybe a couple of these others on the list, but that's mostly because they are kids' films, and my kids will probably end up getting them on again at some point. But it's worth a watch. If you like boxing movies, which I do, I'm quite a fan of boxing movies, but Russell Crowe certainly has done better boxing movies. Cinderella Man being one of my all-time favorites, to be honest. Brian, I know you're not a big anime fan, but are you looking forward to the Mario? To the Mario movie. I am, actually. Now, going back on what I just said about not being a gamer, my kids are just getting into gaming, and they're kind of dragging me along whether I like it or not. And my 3-year-old is really big on Mario, and every day, as soon as he wakes up, he's like, he wants to put Mario 3D World on. He's just addicted right now, absolutely addicted. So they're super looking forward to the Mario movie, and I will admit, given how much Mario I've played in the last few weeks since Christmas, I am looking forward to the film. And I have just watched the 90s film. That's not good. I've got a review for that coming on my channel soon. But yeah, not a good movie. But I am looking forward to the new one, surprisingly, given my history with gaming. But not Thomas Jones. I've seen that, Bryan. 3 stars for me, decent enough, but not really memorable. Yeah, that's about right. It's a 3-star film. Next up, at 31, we've got another Marvel movie. It is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I was really looking forward to this. Sam Raimi back in the comic book world, back with Marvel. The possibilities, given what we were seeing from trailers and things, and the fact that we're going into all these different different universes, and then the film is just like, I think we end up going to about 3 different universes. Really, we see others, but we're in them for like split seconds. Oh, that's an interesting visual. It's over. And then it's just like, it wasn't that interesting. The character work in it wasn't very good. I didn't believe Scarlet Witch's journey. She's mourning for these kids that weren't even real anyway. All right. The whole thing was just, it had no emotional weight to it for me. It was just, there was a lot of cool visuals, some nice Raimi moments, but I was just like, I'm not that bothered. and certain cameos by characters that should make us go, yeah. But I was just like, okay, cool. Yeah, wasn't that impressed. I'll give it a second watch at some point, I'm sure. Hopefully it'll go up my estimation, but I definitely prefer the first Doctor Strange movie over it, without doubt. Definitely. Robert Margian. Wait, we just skipped 33 and 32, did we? Did we? Yes. Where have they gone? Where have they disappeared to? What the heck? Flipping. I uploaded all of these last night, and now this one's missing. So annoying. Thanks, StreamYard. I'll be writing a strongly worded letter. Right, okay. I will have them in just a moment. Number 33 and number 32. Good catch, by the way. I can't quite pay attention half the time because I'm doing 3 things at once. So, right. Number 33. And number 32. Just upload them. Boom. Yeah, so number 33 is another animated film, and it was Scrooge, A Christmas Carol, Netflix film. I watched this because, like, if I saw this poster on Netflix, even if it's the Christmas season, I'd be like, yeah, no, thanks. But my wife had started watching it with my 3-year-old. And then she needed to get off to bed because she was ill. But my 3-year-old wanted to carry on watching it. And I was like, but I've not seen it. And she's like, well, we've only been into it 10 minutes. You can start it from the beginning. So I was like, thanks. So I took him in and stuck it on again from the beginning. And I actually enjoyed it. It's a musical, you know, it's got some pretty decent songs in it. The animation isn't stellar, but it's actually it moves a lot better than that poster would lead you to believe. And the voice work's pretty good in it. So for a story that's been told to death, quite frankly, to be able to hold my attention. If I see an adaptation of Scrooge that can at least hold my attention so that I watch it from start to finish, I'm pretty impressed, because it's a story that's been told so many times before. It's hard to do that. It's hard to keep you engaged. So yeah, respect to it. Look, smash the like button. Yes, thank you, Volley Size. Do smash that like button. If you're just hovering, if it's right there, go and do it. Listen to the guy, because it helps me out. The more likes the video gets, the more YouTube will bump it up for other people to watch it. So yeah, thanks. Smash that like button. Thomas Jones, I didn't even know there was another one coming out until people started talking about how they hated it, so I stayed away from it. Which one is that? Are you talking about this one, the Scrooge movie? Yeah. Anyway, number 32 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I bet nobody ever thought a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film would be this high on a list by me, quite frankly. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I will probably watch it again at some point. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was a good film. I think it's actually the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. And a lot of people really gave me some stick for that when I did my Texas Chainsaw Massacre ranking. The amount of comments I got calling me a crackpot, calling me, "You're not a true TCM fan." I know, right? Obviously. Seriously, you just don't understand the franchise. Clearly. Oh yeah, but I was able to invest myself in the movie from start to finish. I cared about some of the characters. I felt like some of them actually mattered. And yeah, there you go. I loved Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I can respect your choice. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, right, all right. TCM 2022 was not as bad as most are saying it is. I enjoyed it myself. Yep, it's it actually has character development in it, which is something that's somewhat lacking in previous entries. Thomas Jones was so it was Doctor Strange you're on about. You seriously didn't know there was another Doctor Strange movie coming? Blimey, they publicized that thing to death, dude. Sean Sheridan, it's one of the better ones, but the best one that is pushing it. But I get it. This is a turd of a franchise. Hell yes. Never a truer word spoken. And Robert Marginian, wow. And I thought Barbarian was surprising, but TCM not in your bottom 5. Yep, that's right. I've not seen Barbarian, so I don't know where I'm going to come down on that one. But yeah, so let's get back to where I was, which was 31, which was Doctor Strange. Next up, we've got number 30, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is a film that didn't quite deliver the level of fun that I anticipated from the trailer. The trailer really sold me. Like I was there. I was like, that looks hilarious. That looks like it's going to be a heap of fun. I think the first half of the film was kind of like what I was expecting from the trailer, and I was really enjoying it. But then the second half just kind of it just deteriorates into like a generic action film where you know where everything's going, and it's like, all right, fine, whatever. But I still really enjoyed it. But I like, given the reception it was getting, like a lot of people were really big on it, saying, "Oh, it was so good! It's like the Cage is back, and it's the best film in years." And I was like, "Yeah, it's good, but that's it. Let's not go overboard." Yeah. Didn't have a clue. I was working and sleeping all the time, so by the time I got home, I was too tired to go on my phone. Fair enough, man. Barbarian was actually my number 1 favorite movie of last year. I highly recommend it, and I know Cody would too. Well, high praise indeed. I will have to check it out. There's quite a few movies from last year that I intend on catching up on before I do my Lomax Movie Awards, which I've been doing for the past few years. But yeah, number 29, we've got Day Shift, vampire movie. I like a good vampire movie. It's a good vampire movie. It's not spectacular. It didn't blow me away or anything. Snoop Dogg isn't an attraction for me. He kind of puts me off when I see him pop up in films. But Franco was funny. Fox was really good in the lead. I would be happy to see a sequel to this. One of them. It's made for, like, was it Netflix on? Yeah, made for Netflix. And I think, if they put a bit more effort in for the sequel, they could turn it into a franchise that's worth the go. So yeah, I enjoyed it. There are better vampire movies out there, but we're still in 3-star territory, if you're wondering, by the way. Day Shift was quite fun. I could watch again. Yeah, like I say, it's not the most memorable film, certainly. It's no near dark or anything like that, but I had fun. And yeah, I probably a few years from now, if I'm tired and I don't want to get into anything too deep and it's just there in my feed, I'll be like, yeah, I'll give that another watch. So I only just watched X like a week or two ago. If I were to watch that in 2022, then it would definitely be number one out of all the films I have seen. Again, X is another one I have not yet seen, although everybody keeps telling me that I need to watch it. So I will. There's a third film coming out in that series, isn't there? So he's done 3, Ty West altogether. So I think once the third one's out, I'll probably just kind of binge watch the 3 of them. So yeah. Not seen Day Shift on the list. Yeah, it's all right. Like I said, don't expect big things from it. Just reasonably enjoyable watch. I'd liken it to something like John Carpenter's Vampires, which is a film I don't rate that highly, but I can have fun with. But I don't know, Cody will berate me for this, but personally, I would rather watch Day Shift again than John Carpenter's Vampires, which I find to be a little overrated. So take that as you will. Yeah, Maxine. I'm anticipating it. Can't wait. Yeah, that's the one. So next up, Disenchanted. I was actually I was looking forward to this. So huge Amy Adams fan, big diehard Amy Adams fan. I will watch anything with her in. It's got to be said. And I have watched some crap, to be honest, because she's in it. Enchanted was actually the film that put her on my radar. I was a projectionist back when it came out, and I watched it, and I was like, it was one of those films where I was like, I shouldn't like this. But if I'm being honest with myself, I really, really do. And a lot of that was down to Amy Adams, of course, James Marsden as well. So yeah, I was sold on it, and I do really enjoy the first Enchanted movie. This one, given the weight, given the the amount of time they had to do something with this concept, it was a little bit disappointing. You know, it was entertaining. It passed an hour and a half, but it was kind of forgettable. Again, Amy Adams is great in it, but she's great in everything. But that's really the main reason for watching it, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah. Who's Amy Adams? I don't think I've ever heard of her. Yes. Get off my channel. I know you're joking. Yeah, well, I mean, I certainly hope so. All right. Watch X, Bryan. It's a slasher, but not Terrifier, like disgusting for disgusting's sake. I don't think you would love it, but you might find some mild joy out of it. Yeah, I do intend on watching it, definitely. I gotta say, I am more interested in seeing Pearl. Based on what I've heard about them, I feel like Pearl would be more up my street than X. But obviously, I can't really watch that film until I've seen X because they tie into each other. But yeah, okay. So number 27 is Death on the Nile. I really liked the first one. I like what Kenneth Branagh's done with these 2 movies. I hope they do a third. It's the kind of movie you just don't see much of these days. And I think obviously this and then Knives Out, what Rian Johnson's doing with the Knives Out movies, they're kind of bringing it back. So I'd like to see more of these kind of movies, that the old style whodunit, you know, group of people, crime scene, which one's guilty, and just having that where you've got to try and work it out as the audience member. Can you get there first? And having never seen any of the previous iterations of Death on the Nile, I was able to go into it quite fresh. I think that's the main hurdle that Kenneth Branagh faces. I think with these adaptations is that because they have been done quite a few times before, and because they are famous Agatha Christie stories, I would imagine there's a lot of people out there who would watch these and think, yeah, it's not the best adaptation, or I've seen it before, or I knew where it was going, and it's like, well, I don't really know that much in the way of Agatha Christie stuff. Like, I know who she was and what she wrote, but I can't claim to have seen much of them or read much of them, or any of them. Never mind much. So both these films from Branagh were good entries for me. I enjoyed them. Got a lot of enjoyment out of both. And quite frankly, Gal Gadot, it's very easy on the eyes, isn't she? Yes. Again, Gal Gadot's someone I just really enjoy watching for obvious reasons. But yeah. Sorry, Brian, I've been watching nothing but 80s movies that I have been raised up watching, so I have no clue who she is. So you genuinely have no clue who Amy Adams is? Like, this isn't a yanking my chain. You have no clue who Amy Adams is. That's wow. That's staggering. Well, one, she's my favorite actress, and two, she's not that Oscars really mean a right lot, but she has been nominated for quite a few of them. Yeah, no, I'll watch anything with her in. So, yeah, there you go. Get on that. I liked Terrified 2 on the first watch, but I was just out of A&E and wanted something nasty on the second watch. It degrades big time. Shower time after watching it. Yeah, I have no desire to see it ever. Yeah, the first one I just no, a big fat no for me. Like I say, the only time I'm ever going to watch Terrified 2 is if it comes up on 31 and 31, and I'm hoping it doesn't, quite frankly. Robert Marginin, I've seen Death on the Nile a couple of hours after watching Witness for the prosecution. I think the contrast made me enjoy it less than I otherwise might have. All right, but not great. Yeah, I mean, it. Like I say, it's a 3-star film for me. I enjoy it. I'm happy to see more in the series. It ticks certain boxes, and it's a good time. It's not like I do think what Ryan Johnson's doing with his Knives Out film is better, but as a close second, I think Branagh's serving up something that cleanses the palate quite nicely. So yeah. At 26 is Blonde. So this is a film that I'm probably never going to watch again. It was a tough watch. It was a depressing watch. It was filled with untruths. Well, just flat out lies. It's a fairy tale version of Hollywood history and of Marilyn Monroe. I totally understand why any fans of Marilyn Monroe would be offended by it and would not like it. You won't hear any argument from me, but I come to it not so much as a biopic of Marilyn Monroe as it is a ringing indictment of the world in which she lived. I think it's beautifully shot. It's got some of the best cinematography of the year in it. I think Ana de Armas gives a stellar performance in it. I think she has to give a lot of raw emotion throughout most of the running time. So I would imagine as a performer, she was knackered after making this film, quite frankly. But still, as I say, I'll probably never watch it again. I think Andrew Dominik hasn't quite reached the heights of what he did with the assassination of Jesse James, which is just a stellar movie, an absolute stellar movie. More people should have seen. Absolutely, it's incredible. Yeah, it's looking like he's not really going to be able to top that based on everything else that he's done so far. But hopefully, he will prove me wrong. I think we could have done with the Amy Adams comment earlier. Would have easily helped to differentiate the two of us Thomas Joneses. I love Amy Adams. Yes. Boom. So you need to now change your name to real Thomas Jones. And the other Thomas Jones now needs to change his name to fake Thomas Jones. I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, you certainly need educating yourself in the ways of Amy Adams. Okay. Blonde sounds like Angela's Ashes to me, which is an Irish movie. Totally different movies, but same in the sense of very good movies, but so bleak and sad. A one-time watch. Yeah, I have seen Angela's Ashes. I don't remember a right lot from it. I remember Emily Watson being quite good, although really depressing. So yeah, you're probably right on that. But yeah, let's have a look. Number 25, we got Halloween Ends. It's not a great film, and I get why it would be quite unsatisfying for a lot of Halloween fans, but for someone who hasn't been particularly enamored with the with the majority of the franchise, to be honest, and certainly with the recent trilogy, this was the one that for me actually made me latch onto a character and make me care in some way. Like I felt like it was too late. Don't get me wrong, it's a character that should have been introduced in, if not the first film of the trilogy, at least the second. But I think it just goes to show that there never was a trilogy planned. There was a film planned, and Jason Blum clearly said to Gordon Green, can you give us 3? And he said, yeah, sure. Given that that's the case, as its own thing, it's satisfying enough. And again, like I said, that's mostly because I feel like there's better character work done in it. Again, we're not talking Citizen Kane after all. Look at the people involved, but I cared about certain people, and it did have a definitive conclusion. So I didn't feel like we were left hanging for yet another sequel. So in that regard, I preferred it. Of the 3, it's the one that I would probably watch again. Halloween 2018 was all right. And I think if they'd have left it at that, it would have worked as the real conclusion. Like, there's literally no reason for the second 2 films to exist, because they do 2 more films in which you set up more confrontations so that ultimately they can do what they essentially did at the end of the first film, which is to finally, spoiler alert, kill Michael Myers. All right. So you just dragged it out for 3 films, but whatever. Yeah. Right. Where are we? Oh, man. Yeah. Halloween Ends, the worst horror movie of all time. It degraded for me on second view, and I get the hate, but I like it. It didn't. What's this? I get the hate, but I liked it. It did something different, and it beat Evil Dies Tonight. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that second one was bloody awful. Thomas Jones, I didn't like this film. I watched it in the cinema with my mum. She was laughing at the end because she knows how much I love Michael. I like your mum. I don't think I will ever watch this again, but that's just me. Okay. Halloween Kills was third in my ranking on first watch. Second time, yeah, Evil Dies Tonight dropped it like a stone. Always give a movie a second watch to be sure. Yeah, the amount of times I've reviewed films on my channel and regretted it on second watch. Yeah, there's been several movies where it's been like, oh man, really? I gave that 5 stars. Oh man, I gave that 2 stars. I gave The Guest 2 stars or 2.5, I think it was, way back when. It's a really great movie, and I don't know what I was smoking when I first watched it, but second watches are definitely advisable, especially if you're in this game. Halloween Ends was a letdown for me, but I did like a few things about it. Fair enough. Okay. My mother introduced me to Critters, so there's another reason for you to like her. Respect. Damn straight. Tell her I said she's awesome. 24 is Ambulance. That's right. It's Michael Bay in a throwaway action film. And when I say throwaway, I really do mean this is just like, Mr. Bay, we got a load of money. Can you blow some crap up for us? Sure, dude. And that's what he does. So you got Jake Gyllenhaal off the hinge in a character with a character that really doesn't make any logical kind of decision making process in this movie. Like, how he is as successful as he is as a career criminal is beyond me, because some of the choices he makes here is just beyond stupid. Yeah, it's dumb. It's about as dumb as action cinema gets. But is it enjoyable? Yeah, it is. Nobody blows stuff up like Michael Bay. The action is fast, it's furious, it happens quite a lot. I like Abdul Mateen the second. What I can never pronounce his name, but yeah, I like him in it. He's pretty good. Yeah, I don't remember that much about it. It's people in an ambulance being chased. They blow stuff up. They shoot things. Sometimes that's all you need for a good night out. Okay. At number 23 is The Railway Children Return. Yes, this saw the trailer for this. I just thought this looks like a made-for-TV movie, quite frankly. But I got to see it with the family on a free cinema day. It was over in the UK. They do this cinema day thing where you get free tickets and you go, and this is what they were putting on. And I gotta confess, I enjoyed it. I became involved with the characters. And for a kids film, let's not forget this is a kids film. It's a family movie. You can you take your kids to see it. It goes some places that's quite dark, that allowed me to be able to then have conversations with my 8-year-old about Hitler, about the Nazis, about what people went through during the Second World War, and yeah, it sparked conversation between me and my kids. I appreciated it. I thought the character work in it was well done, and to say that this was a film that I had zero interest in, and that's why you should go and watch films at the cinema that really don't look like they're going to float your boat. I do try to watch anything really. If I've got the time And I've, but there's nothing on specifically that I wanted to watch. I will sometimes check something out like this where I'm like, fine, whatever, let's see what happens. And a lot of the time I am pleasantly surprised. So yeah, number 23, The Railway Children return. Sean, I watched half an hour of Ambulance. Off it went, could not get into it, although I was tired, so that was a factor. I will watch it again at some stage. Yeah, like I say, you're not, you're not missing it, like something that's, yeah, it's a Michael Bay movie. He blows stuff up. That's what he does. So I'm not going to tell you. You really need to see it. Look. Number 22 is The Adam Project. I had a lot of fun with this one. I really like Ryan Reynolds. There's a lot of people who are like, whenever a Ryan Reynolds films comes out, they watch it and they go, "It's just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds." And it's like, yeah, I know. That's why I go to see a Ryan Reynolds film. I like when Ryan Reynolds is being Ryan Reynolds. That's why I watch his movies. It's kind of the definition of a movie star. It's like, you know what you're going to get. With Ryan Reynolds, you know what you're going to get. You either like it or you don't. If you don't, stop going to see his movies. But yeah, I like sci-fi. I like Jennifer Garner. I like Zoe Saldana. I like Mark Ruffalo. And I like Ryan Reynolds. I had a blast with this film. It was highly entertaining. Didn't set my world on fire or anything, but I had fun. It was escapism. I had escapism with it. It had heart. It had action. It had enjoyable characters. Yeah, sometimes that's all you need. And number 21 is Black Adam. There's a certain level of genericism about this film. Anyone who says this is generic, I get where they're coming from. I understand it for sure. But it's the kind of generic that I'm much more on board with, as opposed to the likes of Morbius and some of the other Marvel stuff that we've had. I just find the DC characters a bit more interesting, to be honest. I prefer the cinematography in the DC movies because they allow for blacks and deep colors and like just I enjoyed it. It didn't bore me. Like I say, I had that sense that this is a bit generic, but I wasn't bored. And I really liked Pierce Brosnan in it as Dr. Fate. And at the time, when we thought we were getting another Henry Cavill Superman film, the end sequence really got me hyped up. So yeah, I love you, James Gunn, but screw you. Okay. No, I can't wait to see what he does with the DC universe, but I am definitely sad for Cavill. It's got to be said. And number 20 is Last Seen Alive. This is a film I expected zero from. This is like, all right, it's Gerard Butler in a straight to Sky movies kind of generic looking action movie. It's all my brain can cope with tonight, so I'm going to put it on. I watched it and it was really good for what it was, for the budget they had. This isn't one of your big Hollywood, high budget Hollywood movies. You can tell it's low budget. You can tell they're working on, limited resources. But I don't know who directed this off the top of my head, but they did a really good job with it. They were able to build tension. And I liked the way it was done. So it's about this guy whose wife is abducted. And then obviously he starts to be looked at as the suspect, but he gets more and more frantic. Think The Vanishing, films like that. And it was just really well handled. He makes the kind of choices that seemed believable to me in that level of stress. you know, and yeah, I just liked it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting to. For something that, quite frankly, should just be completely generic and forgettable, I enjoyed it. And I remember feeling tense during certain moments. Whereas, like, yeah, if you like Breakdown, movies like Breakdown and The Vanishing, check it out. It's pretty decent. And I would guess that not many people have actually seen it. So yeah, Dr. Fate was definitely the highlight in Black Adam. Yep, I'd say so. People ruin my cinema experience, either nattering or crunching crisps down my ear hole. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I get more and more jaded the more I go to the cinema. To be honest, I've had outbursts at the cinema. I do find it hard to control myself at times. It's the complete lack of respect, and the fact that people have paid for the privilege of showing that lack of respect. To go in, you know, they've paid for tickets, they've paid for popcorn, they go in and they just make a noise and they disrupt the place, and you're just like, really? You paid 20 odd quid to just come here and do that? You could have done that for free anywhere. So yeah, it really sets me off. But I you know, I love the cinema experience when it's good. When the cinema experience is good, it's unbeatable. It's my favorite thing. But I gotta say, I am enjoying the fact that you can watch movies in the comfort of your own home. A lot of the time, the same day they're released at cinemas or whatever. So yeah. For me, it's always the guy who pulls up his phone every five. Yeah. As you can see, it's yeah, it's a trick. Yeah. When that white light, and they don't even have it on the low setting. They've got it on full beam. There's a bloody lightsaber going up in the darkened screen. It's like, seriously? Annoying. You've set me off now. Let's get to the next one. Otherwise, I'll just go off on one. Enola Holmes 2, my wife's favourite film of 2022. Admittedly, she's not seen anywhere near the number of films I have, but yes, she really loved Enola Holmes 2. I liked it quite a lot. I watched the first one and the second one like a day apart from each other. Really enjoyed them. Quite like them. I enjoy Sherlock Holmes adaptations and whatnot. I'm glad that Henry Cavill is Sherlock Holmes in this, and I'm glad that they're putting Enola Holmes forward as this, you know, this strong female character, but not at the expense of her brother Sherlock. You know, there are times in these films where she needs her brother Sherlock's help, where without him she wouldn't get to where she gets to. So I like that they're not just, oh yeah, we're gonna be so woke and just like, you know, we're gonna make Sherlock look like the incompetent idiot, and that it was actually Enola Holmes all the time. That, you know, so that is a route they could have gone, and that was the route I feared they would go when I first started seeing things for these movies. But no, they don't. They're well-made films with enjoyable characters and pretty well paced. So yeah, I've enjoyed both of them, and I look forward to the third one. Probably not as much as my wife, but there you go. Let's have a look. Next up, we've got number 18, The Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore. I enjoyed it. I think it's going to be the last one in it. It kind of bombed at the box office, and I think that's a lot. Johnny Depp supporters boycotting it, J.K. Rowling haters boycotting it. Ezra Miller haters boycott. It didn't stand a chance, quite frankly. And critics kind of savaged it a bit when it came out. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I liked it, and they made it in such a way that, okay, if we're not going to make any more, it at least has an ending. Not the best film in the Harry Potter universe, Hogwarts universe, but as a fan of this world, as a fan of these movies, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I will watch it again. I haven't seen the first Enola Holmes, and I don't think I will be checking this one out. No. Shame. But fair enough. I did primetime movie reviews with Zoe. I love the cinema experience, but hate dealing with the people after spending $60 plus. Not to hear the movie. Yeah. It should be classified as a crime against humanity, quite frankly. This is another film I had no idea was coming out. Plus, take the fact I'm not a fan of the Harry Potter universe. I wasn't exactly waiting for this. Well, no, if you're not a fan of the universe, I imagine you wouldn't be. But yeah, next up, number 17 is Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. It's 45 minutes long. I debated whether or not to even put this on here, but it's long enough. It's long enough for me to say and it was good enough, quite frankly. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. I had a blast, start to finish. Kevin Bacon was awesome. Drax, I really enjoy watching. I really, really, really hope that Dave Bautista becomes James Gunn's Bane in the DC movies. I really do. But yeah, it was just fun. It was just a blast from start to finish. So there you go. Check it out. Next up is number 16, The Lost City. I'm not that big on adventure movies generally. Ones where people they have a map and they go on some kind of hunt, trying to find some long lost city or some, something of that ilk. It's quite surprising. I enjoy the Indiana Jones movies as much as I do, quite frankly. But yeah, Uncharted was right at the bottom of this list near Morbius. That kind of tells you where I sit in that style of movie. So this was quite surprising, and this really it's because it's a star vehicle. It doesn't really matter that it's an adventure movie because it's not about that. It's about the stars. You got Channing Tatum, you got Sandra Bullock, you've got Brad Pitt, and hell, even Daniel Radcliffe was good in this as a villain. I found him quite funny, despite the fact that I have lost a bit of respect for him recently, given his complete lack of support for J.K. Rowling. But that's another story. But yeah, I had a blast with this. I thought it was just amusing. It was funny. I enjoyed all the actors in it. I got my fair share of laughs from a comedy, and it just it killed some time in a very enjoyable way. So, in very much the same way that Red Notice did the previous year. One of those movies that, yes, it's not The Dark Knight or anything like that, but it's the kind of movie you can just put on, enjoy, and then forget about afterwards. But know that you had fun watching it. So there you go. Channing and Sandra felt more like siblings than romantic partners. Fair enough. I enjoyed them. Dave Bautista as Bane, yes, please. Heck, yes. Was not a fan of the other two Fantastic Beasts, but I have a bad memory because of medical conditions. So unless I see it more than once, I get fuzzy on details. So a second watch might help them. Yeah. I actually really liked the second Fantastic Beasts film on first watch. And on second watch, I was like, oh, it's actually not that great. Although I do really like the first one. So the first Fantastic Beasts film I do really like. The third one needs a second watch from me before I can be definitive on my opinion. Lost City from memory was okay. Can't remember a whole lot about it. Yeah, I just had fun with it. Like I say, it's not mind blowing. Just had fun. Sharkman 42. Hey Brian, will you be seeing Babylon? Hell yes, I will. Really looking forward to it. Damien Chazelle is one of my favorite filmmakers at the moment. I loved First Man as well. A lot of people were a bit down on that film because it wasn't La La Land or Whiplash, but I really loved it. I've loved everything he's done so far, and Brad Pitt. I can watch Brad Pitt all day, to be honest. In everything he does, he's highly entertaining. So, as someone who gets to watch movies for free, this list is making me feel like I need to watch movies in the cinema more. Oh. Babylon is definitely flawed, but it's one of those movies that remind me why I love movies so darn much. Yeah, I find that Chazelle's movies do that. They make me realize or remember why. Harry Potter as a villain was fun. Yeah, he was. I heard Babylon was amazing. Looking forward to checking it out. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Thomas, the trailer for Babylon did nothing for me. I wouldn't say it did nothing for me. It actually got a few laughs out of me. But what I will say is that it gave me a concern that it might be a bit self-indulgent. It looks like that kind of movie where the director's now become so kind of big and can do what he wants that maybe he's gone a bit self-indulgent with it. But like I say, I will reserve judgment till I see it because I still love Chazelle and will watch anything he makes for now. At number 15, we've got The Grey Man. Again, generic action film in the sense that the plot and the characters, I've seen them 100 times before. But it's a star vehicle. I love Ryan Gosling. I love Chris Evans. I love Ana de Armas. I had a blast with it. A lot of people were really down on it. I thought the action was really well shot, and I enjoyed the characters. Again, mostly because it was Ryan Gosling doing what he does well, and Chris Evans just kind of hamming it up as the villain. I will watch The Grey Man again. I believe that they are doing a sequel, and I'm happy for it. I had a blast with it. Like I say, it's not top tier action movie or anything, but it's certainly solid enough. Number 14 is Nope. I reviewed this. I think this was the last review actually that I put up on my channel, so go check that out if you want to know my deeper thoughts. But so far it's for 3 for 3 with Jordan Peele at the minute in regards to someone who shows a lot of skill as a filmmaker, but not quite the level as a writer that his reputation would have you believe. I still think Get Out's his best film, although even that ain't the absolute classic that people make it out to be. And I found this really problematic, particularly the subplot in it involving a monkey that didn't really relate to the main plot in a satisfying way. It wasn't clear enough for me. It's well shot, it's well acted, it's just problematic in the script department, I would say. Next up, number 13 is Scream. As a Scream fan, as an ardent Scream fan, it's it's in my top 5 horror franchises, along with Psycho and the Alien series. Although, you know, I would argue that that's it's a crossbreed because it's like sci-fi as well, sci-fi and action. But just as pure horror, just as straight up horror, something that doesn't really fit in other kind of genres as much. It's just, you know, Psycho and Scream are my two. Psycho and Scream are probably my 2 favorite horror franchises. So yeah, this was great. I thought it's you've not got Craven anymore. Is it going to be just like a nasty cash grab kind of thing? And it's not. I felt like the directors, the writers, director team that made this also made the film. I can't remember now. Ready or Not. I felt like they cared. I felt like they cared about what they were doing. They were putting effort in. They wanted to be faithful to the series, to the fans, but yet also pepper in a new direction, which I think they'll really run with in the next one. I think they've given themselves room now to take it places without having to be so reliant on everything that came before. So yeah, and they've earned it with this film. So cracking stuff, and one of the best character deaths in the entire franchise for me. Next up is Steven Soderbergh's Kimi. So obviously this is a film that is a result of the COVID situation. There was a lot of films that kind of came out last year that were very much COVID inspired, you know, in the sense that filmmakers couldn't get out. They couldn't do film the way that they always had done. There were certain regulations and rules in place. They had to make sacrifices, and a lot of that kind of led to a lot of films that weren't that great, to be honest. From what I heard, a lot of them I just didn't watch because the reviews weren't great. But Soderbergh is always a director that intrigues me. He's always someone that's got a bit of class about him, and I think he proved it with this film. It's low budget. It's, you know, low resources. It's a film that has to confine itself to a few locations, again, because of the whole COVID thing. It even uses the COVID thing in it and I just think he built an intriguing story on a low budget that was well paced, had a good central character that you rooted for, and was an intriguing plot. So yeah, it was a nice little film that I would definitely recommend. Where are we? Let's see. Oh yes, I enjoyed the hell out of Scream 2022. Seeing Scream 6 without Neve Campbell is going to be weird. That is the biggest hurdle for me, because yeah, she is my favorite final girl. You know, you look at all these big horror franchises, Nancy and Laurie Strode and all them. To me, Sidney Prescott beats their ass hands down, quite frankly. Bryan Lomax is the new nightmare. Bryan Lomax is the new nightmare of the Autop stream. Great watch, highly underrated. This time, but not the first of the franchise. I don't know whether to say that as a compliment or an insult, but that's like a backhanded compliment. Yeah, thanks. Oh, man. Daniel Skinner, hello, Mr. Lomax. I hope you have an excellent 2023. Also, I'm growing out my beard to make it look like yours, except my hair is jet black instead of ginger. Well played. Everyone should have a beard if they can grow one. I like Dewey, but it was getting stupid. He kept living. I'm excited for the new one, not just for the New York setting, but the series for me needs to move on from Sydney. She was barely in 5 and it was fine. Yeah, I mean, there is that, definitely. I think as fans, we can really start to cling on to things that we do need to let go of. I think for me, it was more the fact that they let go of Nev Campbell in the way that they did, like kind of practically insulting her with the, from what I hear, the salary amount that they were going to offer, and it's like, I get where she's coming from. Like, obviously we don't really know how much she was offered, but I do get it. And it's like, if you're going to bring her back, then yeah, bring her back, but give her an ending, give her some finality. But you know, she's still out there. The character's still out there. She could do something at some point one day. Who knows? Maybe it's all a ruse and she's actually the killer and they just want to keep it secret. So probably not, hey? Right. Number 11, Matilda, Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Again, took my kids to see it. My daughter primarily wanted to see this. My 3-year-old son, he was a bit fidgety. He was like, no, Dad, no. Is Black Adam not still on? Come on. But I enjoyed it. There's some good character stuff in it. Emma Thompson's really good. The songs were great. Stephen Graham was hilarious. Again, it's one of them films that probably shouldn't do anything for me, but when I watched it, I was like surprised, pleasantly surprised. So, yeah. Well, CP is the Freddy's Dead of our top street. Poor CP. Oh, it was a complaint. Oh, okay. Right. A complaint that I don't get seen enough, hopefully. Or a complaint about me, I don't know. I'm confused now. I've read several messages since then. Sorry. Matilda Musical was that good? Whoa, I gotta see it. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, it's not for everyone. If you don't like musicals, if you're the kind of person who, you know, has seen things like La La Land and is just like, nah, not for me, bro, then you're not gonna like it. Don't bother. But you know, if there are musicals out there that you enjoy and you find yourself getting into, you know, Greatest Showman, things like that, watch it. It's enjoyable. It really is. Right. Where are we? Branding. Right. Next up at number 10. So this is my top 10 so far. Obviously, before I do my annual awards thing, I will be watching a lot more movies. There's a lot I've got to catch up on, but at the moment, this is how my top 10 stands. Number 10 is Prey, a Predator movie that is probably the best Predator movie since the first one. I know for some people that's not a high bar, but I do really love the Predator franchise, even the bad movies. I just enjoy them as, you know, schlocky sci-fi action fun. But this was a genuinely good movie, very well directed, brilliant cinematography, just excellent central character. It ticked all the right boxes. It was basically the one we'd been waiting for since that original Predator movie, quite frankly. Sean, the first Matilda I love. No one other than Pam Ferris can play Miss Trunchbull to me. I disagree because, well, one, I've not seen the original, and two, it's Emma Thompson. It's Emma Thompson. She's the British Meryl Streep. She's a national treasure. She's great. And she bought me a brew once, technically. Technically. But no, you should check it out, definitely. I'm missing a number. I'm gonna have to upload one because it's not on there. Stupid StreamYard. Thank you for that. So my number 9, when it uploads. Sorry about this, guys. My number 9 is Glass Onion, A Knives Out Story. Not as good as the first film. The first film kind of came out of nowhere, really. It was very, just brilliantly written by Ryan Johnson. And he's created a character that I really, really enjoy in, Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc. It's sorely missing Ana de Armas, but obviously that was a one and done. You can't bring her back for this, but it was an intriguing enough story, although I did see a lot of the twists and turns coming quite early on. Although it still had enough nice surprises in there. I just knew I knew who the main perpetrator was right from the get-go, pretty much. But it didn't take away from my enjoyment. Everything else that was going on with it and the characters and whatnot was so much fun that it didn't really matter that I found some of the plot kind of revelations a bit predictable. So, yeah. Number 8 is Bullet Train. This is one of them films where I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, I'll watch it, but it looks like it's going to be pretty generic, and it looks like the humor in it probably ain't going to land half the time. And I watched it, and I just had a blast from start to finish. It's maybe a bit too long, but I just really loved it. It was Brad Pitt was hilarious in it. And all the various characters. Aaron Taylor Johnson, please make him the next James Bond. Guy's awesome. His character in this was awesome. So many great, quirky, assassin characters in it. And the action was fantastic. I loved it. I had a blast. It was probably the most fun I had from any movie, just in terms of switch your brain off, just have fun. Probably the most fun of the year for me. Number 7, bit of a controversial choice. This could ruffle some feathers, I don't know, but what the hell? Number 7 is What is a Woman? So if you don't know what this is a documentary that simply asks the question, what is a woman? So it's made by Matt Walsh. Someone I don't always agree with. He's very much on the right. He's as far as his political stance goes, he's definitely on the right. I don't agree with everything that he stands for, but I loved this film. I think everyone needs to watch it, and I think a lot of people will watch it with the specific intention of hating it, and nothing you do or say will persuade them from that, or dissuade them from that. But for me, the first half of the film is funny, hilarious, in fact, at times. Just when you look at the sheer level of stupidity that society has gotten to, like just the fact that language is being changed arbitrarily by people who seem to have lost all common sense and reason. And then the second half of the film is actually pretty damn scary, as it shows you or offers up where a theories as to where all this has come from and how it's come about. And it's just, it just makes me glad that I homeschool, quite frankly. If you have your kids in schools, then quite frankly, you should be terrified. That's not a judgment on you. It's just, that's the system. That's the way we've played things for so many years. But yeah, maybe it's time we start questioning things. But for me, it's the film that I've most shared with people this year. I've said, have you seen What Is a Woman? And when people say no, I'm like, you gotta watch it. You've seriously got to watch it. It's insanity, absolute insanity. So yeah, but like I say, probably the most controversial film on this list, given just how how reactionary the subject is in today's society. But there you go. What streaming is it on? This is something that might interest me. What Is a Woman? Yeah, it's on the Daily Wire, but you can probably find it on YouTube. I don't generally recommend piracy, and particularly a film like this that is very much independent. I would say go watch it on Daily Wire, but I just think it's such a vital film in the way that documentaries go, that if piracy is the only way that it's going to get you to actually watch it, then fine, but just watch it, because I think everybody needs to watch it. But yeah, you probably can find it on YouTube, to be honest. Homeschooling your kids is extremely smart, Bryan. Well done, brother. Yeah, thanks. The thought of putting my kids in the hands of some of these people just scares the crap out of me, quite frankly. So just know, my daughter just loves it. So does my son. My daughter loves homeschooling. We ask her sometimes, do you think you'd want to go to school? And she's just like, no way. So yeah. Love seeing critics talk about this one. Yeah, it's like I reviewed this on Letterboxd. I reviewed What Is a Woman on Letterboxd, and they're not laying any reviews up. So Letterboxd have literally silenced people on this movie. They are not showing reviews. If you want to see my Letterboxd review for this movie, you have to go to it through my profile. But if you go to the movie on Letterboxd, all reviews have basically been, they've been banned. I mean, they're saying they need to go through them and vet them, basically, which is ridiculous anyway, because you're taking away the freedom of speech. You can go to a film like God's Not Dead, which I will hold my hands up as a Christian and say is one of the worst movies ever made. It deserves to be trashed, okay? But you can go on to that review. You can go into that movie on Letterboxd, review it, and in your review, you can say some hateful things towards Christians that, quite frankly, have got nothing to do with the movie. But Letterboxd won't touch those things. Oh, no. But if you review the movie What Is a Woman on Letterboxd and you don't say anything hateful towards the transgender community or anything like that, you're just reviewing the movie. You're reviewing the movie on its own terms, saying whether it's good or bad, this, that, and the other, and you can't, because Letterboxd will not show it. That it's just like, what world do we live in where freedom of speech is really hammered down like that? Yeah. If you want to protect freedom of speech, then you owe it to yourself to go and watch this film. You may not even agree with it. You may not like it. But for the sake of freedom of speech, go and watch it. Yeah. Gavin O'Toole, just looked it up. It's on YouTube. Sean Sheridan found it on YouTube. Yeah, good. Gavin Evans, truly terrifying what's going on these days, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah. Well, it's got to get worse before it gets better, I guess. But looking to watch something tonight, what would you recommend? What Is a Woman? Go and watch it. Seriously. Obviously, it's not my number one on this list, but it is the movie that I do tell everyone to watch, because I just think you have to. You have to watch it. Where are we? It's a movie I will watch once and that's it, but it sounds interesting. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it a couple of times, but that's mainly because I've watched it with people, because I've been like, you got to watch this. And there's been a couple of, I got my brother to watch it, and it's just like, yeah, I've got a few people to watch it because you just need to. So there you go. The night is darkest just before the dawn. Yes, it is. Right, let's have a look. Sharkman 42. No, I've not seen the new Dharma series. I've heard it's supposed to be good, but I've just not gotten around to it. But yeah. So number 6 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Absolutely frenetically paced, just bonkers, sausage fingers. Yeah. If you're not seeing it, you're probably going, what? Sausage fingers. It's bonkers. Most bonkers film I've seen all year, but highly creative, highly inventive. I just, yeah. Michelle Yeoh is someone I've always really, really liked. I love her in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She's a phenomenal actress, and I'm just glad she's getting some attention for this film. She's phenomenal in it. Yeah, it's just wacky. It's crazy. There's stuff in it that's a bit too weird for me. A bit like goes places where I'm like, okay, but just for sheer inventiveness, it's unlike anything else this year. It puts Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness to shame, quite frankly, and it's on a fraction of the budget. You know, the budget of Doctor Strange compared to this, I would imagine, is sky high in comparison, and yet the amount of creativity and inventiveness that's on show in this one compared to that film is just staggering. And they go to way more different universes, isn't it? You know, it's a multiverse kind of hopping movie. So yeah, it's great. You have to see it really to believe it. It's quite incredible. Number 5, another film I just recently reviewed is The Northman. Really incredible, brutal. The story itself is quite generic. It's something I've seen many times before, but the thing that separates it really is the environment in which it's placed. That whole Viking kind of world. We've not really seen that odd film much in this level of detail, with this level of kind of attention or faithfulness to the lore and that era and that world. And I just think, yeah, Robert Eggers does a fantastic job with it. Beautiful to look at cinematography wise. The final fight sequence is just something you have to see because it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's great. Really, really great film. Let's have a look. Where are we? My second favorite movie of 2022. It truly blew my mind. Are you talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once or The Northman? There, not quite sure. But yeah, everything is a fantastic, mad movie, but it's a one-time thing. It gives me a headache how crazy it is. I respect you not going to what? Respect you're not going to what? Sorry, not quite sure on that last bit there, mate. But yeah, for me, it's not. I can see myself watching it again, but probably not anytime soon. Probably like 8 to 10 years from now, I'll be like, I remember that being awesome. I'm going to watch it again. But yeah, it's not like a once a year kind of thing for me. But it was just, I just totally respect the creativity behind it. So I really want to check out Everything Everywhere. I only heard great things. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's The Lion King with Vikings. I'm not a Viking guy, but this was good, much better than The Lighthouse. That was so weird to me. Yeah, I really don't fancy The Lighthouse. Doesn't the trailers, the footage, everything? It doesn't do anything for me. But I'm gonna have to check it out at some point, I think. Cinematography in The Northman is breathtaking. I was geeking out in the theater. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Everything Everywhere is second favorite. I've not seen X and Barbarian. I loved The Northman. I love Robert Eggers' style. Alexander Skarsgård and Anya Taylor-Joy are incredible in it. I also think the story is deeper than I initially thought. Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy is just so good right now. Everything she touches just turns to gold. Yeah. Right, number 4 for me is the Banshees of Inisherin. So funny and so dark. It's typically so Martin McDonagh, one of my favorite filmmakers. In Bruges is still my favorite of his, but it was so good to see him make another film with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, two of my favorite actors. This is one of them movies where once you've seen it a few times, you're just going to be quoting it all the time. It's got such great dialogue. McDonagh is just a master of dialogue. It's so politically astute as well, and I know that's not always something that really makes you want to go and see him. It's politically astute, yeah, I'm there, but it's in a way that isn't like, it doesn't wear its politics on. It's a story about two guys been friends for years, and one of them just decides he doesn't want to be friends anymore. And when you look at the world that we live in which neighbors are suddenly enemies because of whether they're right or left, gay or straight, black or white, whatever, it's like, it's got so much to say about modern society, but in a very relational, just quirky, funny, dark, twisted story about these two men, that if you don't want to take any political things from it whatsoever, you don't have to, because it's not crammed down your throat, but it's there if you want it. But it was a highly entertaining film for sure, big time. Let's have a look. I call bollocks on the ending, but I loved Banshees. I liked the ending, to be perfectly honest. Just the whole movie for me was just, yeah. Oh, where are we? Shows how stubborn people can be. He finds the love of his life is going to have a child, even after what his father did to his mother. Amir still goes after his. Oh, yeah, you're talking about The Northman. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, yeah, it's a film about being able to choose between love and hate. And personally, I think the character thinks he's chosen both at the end, but I don't. I think he's made the wrong choice. But that's the beauty of the film, is the discussion it can create. But it is a great film for sure. Daniel Skinner, how do you rank the trilogy of Nick Cage 90s action films, The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off? I would say The Rock, Face Off, Con Air. But yeah, I won't get too much into answering questions, mate, just because I do need to get off sometime soon. Get my daughter to bed. But yeah, I'll get down to my last three. Where are we? There you go. Right. So, it's done it again. It's not put number 3 on there, has it? Let's have a look. I need to upload it. Right. Sorry, guys. Bear with. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that's video clips. Trying to put it in the wrong one. Here we go. Right. Number 3. Internet. Right. Sorry about that. There we go. So number 3 for me in 2022 is Top Gun Maverick. Just, yeah, Tom Cruise flying the flag for good old-fashioned blockbuster filmmaking that's got no agenda beyond entertaining the crap out of you. Brilliant cinematography, so well directed. Just, I pretty much had a smile on my my face for most of it. It was just old school blockbuster. Yeah, loved it. Yeah, incredible. And it has depth to it as well. A lot of character depth that makes it more than a worthwhile watch, just for entertainment value, as well as, you know, having something to say, which is always something I like. So obliterate the like button, show the love. Yes, thank you. Please do, people. Please do. Okay, so I'll just wrap this up. Come on. Number 2 for me is Avatar: The Way of Water, a film that I've been excited about ever since the first Avatar, a film that itself I really love. A lot of people say it's overrated. A lot of people say dancing through world in space. Well, yeah, whatever. You could say that about so many films. It's this film, but in space, or it's this film, but as a Western. And it's like, get over it. It's just, yeah. James Cameron takes you to Pandora, and I don't want to leave once I'm there. It's fantastic. Loved the first Avatar, and I loved this one. I can't wait to see it again. The running time's a bit bum numbing for sure, but man alive, it's enjoyable from start to finish. And there's a bit more character depth in this one. Even the villain, Quaritch, in this gets some depth to him. Where there's a spark in there that leads you to think that perhaps somewhere down the line he could have redemption. So yeah, just I thought it was phenomenal. The effects work in it is just untouchable, absolutely untouchable. And 20 years from now, it's gonna look just as good, quite frankly, the same way that the first Avatar does now. So yeah, Top Gun, good action, and actually has has a story, good commentary about how the past can haunt you. Much better than the first one. Never been a fan of the first one. Yeah, me neither. I don't like the first one. First one's a 2-star film for me. I think it's cheesy. It's a bit naff. It's a bit very lightweight. There's not really much story at all. It's just pretty visuals and music. It's like, yeah, it's a music video, glorified music video. But the new one, yeah, blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. Same Bryan, I couldn't help but smile while watching Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, it's cinema. That's what I love Tom Cruise. He's wacky. He gets up to some crazy ass stuff, but man, he loves to deliver cinema to us as the audience. So yeah, absolutely incredible, just breathtaking. Hearing Danger Zone in the beginning gave me goosebumps. Honestly, this is how you make a sequel to an 80s classic, but have the sequel be a better movie, a much better movie. Yeah. The Locker Room, Avatar is my favorite movie of all time. I don't understand the hate. No, neither do I. It's not my favorite movie of all time, but I can understand why it would be someone's favorite movie of all time. I am way more excited for whatever Cameron does next in the Avatar universe than I am for whatever comes next in Star Wars. Some people think that's wacky. I think I'm smoking crack for that, but yeah, give me Avatar over Star Wars any day of the week. Avatar, much better than the first one. Great family story and dynamic, but you feel that runtime. But visual-wise, best I've ever seen. James Cameron takes forever to make movies, but always worth it. Yep, for sure. Avatar never interested me, so I don't think I'll be watching the second Avatar. Yeah, well, your loss. Yeah, the visuals in Avatar are nothing but stunning. My goodness. Yeah, you do. I was sitting there watching it, and my God was just, sometimes I was just like, I can't believe what I'm watching on screen. It feels like you can reach out and touch it. I don't know when I'm going to see Babylon, Sharkman 42. It comes out end of this month, is it? But over here, but it's all when I can wrangle the time, because I've got to make sure I've not got the kids and this, that, and the other. So, yeah. But I will definitely be seeing it. Anyway, final film. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody, but my number one of 2022. I can't really see this changing by the time I get to do my Lomax Movie Awards. It is, of course, The Batman. Yeah. I didn't think any film could come close to The Dark Knight, quite frankly, to what Nolan did. But man alive, this is about as close as you can get, for sure. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. 3 hours of Batman. That's what I'm all about right there. A 3 hour Batman film. Hell yes. Everything in this film is just spot on. I just loved it. I loved it. Seen it 3 times now, and it's just that Batmobile. When you feel a seat in the cinema, when you watch it in the big screen, and your cinema seat is shaking from the Batmobile roaring into life. That was such a thrill. That was just one of the most thrilling moments for me in my cinema going life. That Batmobile chase scene, but just the characters in it, so well drawn out. A lot of people complain a bit that you don't get enough of Bruce Wayne, but this is Bruce Wayne in his early days. We're not meant to. I think they're definitely going to flesh that out as they go along. We're going to start to see the Playboy emerge. He's going to start to use Bruce Wayne as a cover for his other activities, and realize that the two have to both exist. So yeah, I can't wait. The only thing that I would say we could have done without was that Joker scene at the end. I think we could have done without it. In fact, the Joker scene that they cut from the film, I think they should have put that one in and left the one out that they have at the end. Because, yeah, the one that they cut was way better. But, yeah, there you go. I'm not going to get too much into anything now, guys, just because I do need to get my daughter to bed. But what villains do you want to see in the next Batman movies? Ones we've not seen before, to be honest. I'd love to see someone like Tallyman or Reaper make their way in. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, Batman deserves the number one spot. I'll end on this because, yeah, Batman deserves the number one spot. Of course it does. I've watched the movie several times now, and it gets better and better on each watch. Yeah, the car chase scene gave me chills. Yeah, me too. Big time. Yeah. But there you go. That is my ranking of all the new releases that I've seen so far from 2022. As I say, I am going to try and catch up on quite a few films before I do my Lomax Movie Awards. So the top 10 may change by that point. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for those in the comments section that have joined me. Sorry I can't get into any more stuff, but I do have to get to bed. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and until next time, cracking.